Hi, everyone. Thanks for logging on to WBIR.com. We should be dry from now through lunchtime. After lunchtime, we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. Got a cold front on the way. The cold front will help to provide us a little extra lift in the atmosphere. Locally heavy rainfall. Boy, I tell you what, the atmosphere is loaded with moisture, just like yesterday where we saw some issues due to the heavy rainfall that fell. And temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 80s. However, things are about to change. Dew points by 4 o'clock today are going to be in the 70s. Very high humidity. But as that cold front comes in overnight tonight, look at the dry air. That's going to settle its way on in. Dew points by tomorrow morning, comfortable. We're talking 50s and low 60s. And that's going to make a huge difference in how the air feels. Tomorrow's going to have a nice cool feel to the air tomorrow morning, even tomorrow afternoon, a high of 88 like today, but a different feel to that 88, and then an unsettled weather pattern as we head into the weekend. Have a great day.